today I have another super cool interview with Bridget, and she's Bridget Yong on YouTube. She's just starting out, she's a Lolita and she's a makeup artist, and she just did this gorgeous look on me. So if I look fantastic today, that's all thanks to her. So
thank you.
feel free to go on her channel to see also how we did that together. I will put the link at the end. But for now, I would like to know a little bit more about her and introduce her to you through my interview. Are you ready?
Yay, I'm so excited.
Yay.
Thank you for having me on your channel, Joelle.
You're welcome. Thank you for making me look that amazing.
It was so fun.
It was so fun, really, and I learned a lot, so you should check that out. So, how long have you been wearing Lolita fashion?
Ooh, definitely since high school, so I think around like 5 to 8 years now, I'd say. Yeah, it's been quite a while.
And how did you discover it then?
I discovered Lolita fashion when I was in elementary school, and I would search through Google about anime and cosplay.
Wow.
You know, the usual like stuff that Lolitas tend to be into before they get into Lolita. And I just slowly discovered it that way, and I started attending anime conventions, and I would cosplay, but then I'd also see people wearing Lolita fashion, and so then I researched online, and I found more out about it, and I decided that I really wanted to do it.
Awesome. But then that's so early. That's really, wow. Elementary school, this is...
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I was really into anime from an early age, and I guess my parents encouraged it because I have some Korean background, and so, you know, like, even though anime's Japanese, like, a lot of Korean people are involved in it as well, and they were glad I found, like, an artistic outlet, because I'd always been an artistic child, but then it also had that Asian influence, too, and so, you know, they were very accepting of it in the whole art thing and anime in general, so that was nice.
Awesome. And so, right now, how often and to what occasions do you wear the fashion?
I wear Lolita very often, almost always to every special event I go to. I never really wear regular clothes, quote unquote. I'm always in some sort of doll-like fashion, a lot of times like Asian inspired, or I've been kind of branching out into this new style that's been developing through a lot of Taobao stores. It's kind of like Chinese traditional clothing mixed with Lolita, mixed with historical clothing, and then there's also this other brand called Lulu Always I've been wanting to try, and it's kind of like this patchwork style thing. If you're familiar with the brand Oi Lily, I don't know if that's even around anymore. It's kind of similar to that, but with a more Lolita-y vibe. So I always wear alternative fashion, and Lolita almost always for special events. And
what do your friends and family think about that? You said that your family were quite welcoming with this style?
Oh, extremely. Like, I was always into Disney princesses and things when I was a little kid, and my parents were always supportive of that, so they just viewed Lolita as a similar thing. My dad actually collects art and stuff, so he's very open to artistic things and kind of like crazy things, and the same with my mom. She's very interested in art as well, so they just viewed Lolita fashion as like a very normal avenue for an artistic child to want to express themselves, so yeah, they're very accepting of it. They love the fashion.
Awesome, that's great, especially since you started quite early, so that's good.
Yeah.
And so what about your friends? How did they react when you started wearing Lolita?
Well, I would say like my close friends, like they were very accepting of it, because when I was in high school, I went to a private school that was really small. There was like, I think 200 children in the school altogether, and it was K through 12. And those people thought it was kind of weird, but I did have a few friends within that school that were like super into anime and stuff, and they totally were supportive of it. They thought it was really cool. And even the mainstream people or normies, they kind of liked me. I guess they found me kind of like to be an interesting person, so they weren't like negative about it, like that's ugly and stuff. They just were like, oh, that's like different, but it wasn't like they were cruel about it or anything.
Okay, that's nice. And what is your favorite substyle?
Oh, definitely sweet, but with like this emphasis on hime, and like I really like fairy tale prints or prints that have some sense of like classic stories. Like one of the dresses I really like is the Baby the Starshine Bright Secret Garden one.
Okay.
Or I like the prints that have like just that fairy tale aesthetic to them the most.
What is your inspiration when you create a coordinate?
My inspiration is probably Victorian dolls or just historical women as a whole. And also Disney princesses. I tend to look up a lot of stuff on historical fashion, and so I guess when I'm putting together a cord, I tend to focus a lot on the hair and makeup as being like a part of the cord. I feel like sometimes we tend to limit it to just like what's being worn, but I think a lot about how say like women in the 1880s did their hairstyles. Like they had these very elaborate updos, and I've noticed stuff like that kind of coming into popularity, and I would say that's where I get my inspiration. And
Interesting.
I'll even look at pictures like that for blouse inspiration or shoes. A lot of the shoes are so complex and beautiful from the Victorian era or the Georgian era, so I love historical fashion.
Interesting. And so what is your process when you build a coordinate? Do you start with the dress? Do you start, like you said, with the hair and then you build after that? Or what?
I think I just kind of think about whatever the main piece of the outfit is and then whatever feeling I want to get from it. Like, do I want to make this dress have a vintage vibe? Do I want to make it have a princessy vibe? Do I want to make it have a very like historical doll vibe? And then from there I'll choose pieces that help to emphasize that. And I'll admit I'm kind of that person that sees an outfit and then I want to get all of the pieces that go with it exactly. But you know, I will mix and match sometimes as well.
But I feel that's good when you can buy everything that goes like with the set, then you can have that and then you can mix something else.
Yes.
But trying to find the head bow after the fact is impossible, so yeah.
It's the worst. I think I've been looking for Glass Bottle of Tears, the head bow that goes with Glass Bottle of Tears for so long. I have the bonnet, but I really want the head bow too. Oh, and the socks came up for sale on Frill, and I was like, oh yes, because I've never seen them before. And like, anyway, I was so excited. But
Nice. Did you ever suffer from what people thought of you wearing Lolita in the streets or something like that?
No, not really. I would say that, you know, again, like, I feel like I had a lot of development in elementary school. So when I was in elementary school, I didn't really wear alternative fashion, but I was kind of interested in, I guess, punk Lolita. And I would sort of wear things like that. And I think there was this time before I did Lolita where I may have been kind of uncomfortable to wear something more wild. But, by the time I started doing Lolita, I had already been dressing in a way that was pretty outlandish. I would just mix and match stuff together, and that never really bothered me. I guess I'm a pretty confident person, so it doesn't really matter to me what people think, and I tend to get pretty positive feedback anyway, but even if it was negative, it's like, I enjoy doing this, so I don't really care what anyone thinks. Like, you know? Like, I don't think it's good to run your life based around other people's opinions, because you have to do what's best for yourself and what makes you feel good and makes your life more fruitful and fulfilling. So that's my advice.
Absolutely. And so if you would have to give an advice to somebody who is just afraid to start, would like to wear that and is afraid to start, what would you tell them?
Oh, I would say just start doing it, because it just doesn't matter. Like, I don't know, maybe you're afraid because your like family would be like non-supportive, or you think people would stare at you on the streets. Like, it doesn't really matter, because like if you feel good and you're looking like super fab and you're walking through the streets in your Lolita, like that's all that matters. And people, honestly, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of stories about people being negative, but in my experience, it's always been very positive. I think as long as you're a positive person and you're courteous and, you know, you're not doing like negative things, people aren't going to be like angry with you they're going to be very supportive of it, especially old people, because they like that sense of it being like old-fashioned and things. They're like, oh, we had dresses similar to that when I was younger.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Old people are so nice. They're the cutest.
Absolutely. What do you love about Lolita fashion?
I love that it makes me feel like who I am. Before I wore Lolita fashion, it was really difficult for me to get interested in fashion as a whole, because I'd put stuff on, I'd be like, this is ugly. Like, I don't like this. I don't like this. And I realized, like, for whatever reason, when I was a little kid, like I said, I love Disney princesses and classic stories, and that's the type of person I wanted to look like. And so when I did Lolita fashion, it made me feel that way finally. Yeah. And I was finally looking in the mirror and being like, this is correct. Like, yes.
What is your best memory of wearing Lolita fashion or doing something in Lolita?
I don't know if I have a specific memory. It's just as a whole, being able to wear what makes me feel most comfortable and most myself every day, or at least like the sub-styles that I like to wear as well. That's my best memory, just being able to be who I am on a daily basis and be comfortable with it and be happy.
Awesome. And do you have somebody that you look up to in the Lolita community, or one of the models, or?
I do like to research a lot of the models for makeup inspiration, or Namiki Akio. He's like kind of known as the main Lolita makeup artist, so I have some of his books. And I would also say, just in general, I like to look up to people who are entrepreneurs. That's something I'm very interested in. That's why I started my YouTube channel. And so those sorts of people I find as huge inspirations.
Great. Would you say that Lolita fashion did change your life? And if so, how?
Yes. Before wearing Lolita fashion, I was extremely uninterested in fashion as a whole and makeup. Like, I was that person that never wore makeup, never saw a need to. I wouldn't dress up for special events because in my head it was just like, if I can't wear anything that I like, I'm just not going to try. Like, I would just grab things from my drawers and throw them on because I just didn't care. Once I got into Lolita, I became so interested in fashion and makeup and hair, and I really became one of those like fashionista girly girl people. Whereas before I was almost borderline like tomboy about fashion and makeup. So
I'm the same. I feel like so many Lolitas are like that. They found the fashion thing in Lolita, and they were never interested in fashion before, or feminine clothes or anything.
It's so true. I mean, and honestly, what I find interesting is a lot of times women who are more like eccentric or in the nerd category, like people tend to like, at least there were like jokes for a while about how like, oh, they're not interested in fashion and stuff, and it's like, well, yeah, it's because you didn't make a fashion that we liked.
That's true, yeah.
And it's like, I feel like us like women who are into Lolita, or men as well, and you know, whatever you identify as, and you just get so into it, and it's almost more so than like some people who are just like into mainstream fashion for every day.
Yeah.
Like I was less interested than those people, and now it's like way over the moon.
Absolutely.
It's just like, you know.
Absolutely. Would you have any tips for experienced Lolitas?
My tips, to no surprise, would be to focus a lot on hair and makeup, because they can really make or break an outfit. When models and things are on shoots, they spend a lot of time doing hair and makeup, and if you spend a lot of time perfecting your hair and makeup, it's going to really help your full outfit to come together. I always recommend treating makeup and hair as part of the coordinate. So, like how in the tutorial that I did with Joelle, we were talking about like the different colors in the dresses and how to match them and how to really like perfect that. I would say, if you haven't already, focus on hair and makeup and try to get really good at it. Like, when I first started Lolita, I didn't have this haircut. I just had like long hair and was about to here, but then I was like, oh, I want to get the hime cut because I think that's gonna help me to look better in the fashion. And then I did, and I was so happy. Don't be afraid to like get different haircuts and like dye your hair, or, you know, just to experiment with the styling of everything.
Great tip. Thank you so much. And then you just understood she is a makeup artist. So please tell us how you started. Did you study? Did you study by yourself? Are you naturally born talented?
Well, not exactly. I actually first began my interest in makeup because of theater and cosplay. I've been involved in theater for a very long time, and that's why I'm kind of interested in YouTube, because I love to entertain people. That's like, oh, I'm just like, yes, entertain people. But anyway, I became interested in theater makeup because I was in so many shows, and then at the same time I was really into cosplay, and I was really into that cosplay makeup like they do in Asia, where it's just like you look like a literal anime character and there's all this eyeliner and stuff. Like, that was totally me. And from there, I actually watched Michelle Phan's videos on YouTube. If you're not, she's a really old YouTuber. I don't think she posts that much anymore, but she was kind of the original beauty guru.
Yep.
And I watched her videos, and then like from there I kind of became interested in makeup, and as time went on, I started to do my makeup every single day before school because I was like, I want to get good at this. And so then I did, and I got more familiar with beauty makeup, and during that time I was getting more involved in Lolita. And finally, I actually wanted to run a cosplay makeup booth at a local convention. And in order to do that, you had to have a sanitation license. So I went to makeup school to get that license. And then from there, I was a licensed makeup artist. And I would do people's cosplay makeup for fun at conventions sometimes. And I would do makeup on myself. I've never really done like freelance, but you know, I'm licensed. And I do a lot of my own personal research, though. I would definitely say that my skills weren't really learned in the classroom. I more got just the certification in the classroom, but I taught myself all the skills that I know, pretty much, through online tutorials, basically.
Wow, that's impressive. So that means that anyone can achieve that if they practice a lot and watch YouTube.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, don't ever be afraid to start learning how to do something new, especially because we have YouTube. And I can definitely vouch for YouTube being like more effective than, say, a school program or something. You may need those programs to have a license, but you're going to learn after you go to school anyway. And it's going to be tips that you pick up from yourself or coworkers or tutorials online. And all that information is there for you to access. And so go for it. Like, if you want to learn how to do makeup, I always recommend looking at tutorials by drag queens.
Oh, yeah.
Because, really, I use a lot of the same concepts that drag queens do to do my makeup, even though this is very soft and, you know, not like, you know, snatched. But if you use those similar techniques and just tone them down a bit, it can help you to really create dimension and shape and learn how to use color and how to structure your face with makeup. It's very helpful. So that's like a huge tip I would give someone, is to watch drag tutorials.
I've heard that a lot, so that's a really good tip, I think, because it goes to such a extreme that you can see what they do, and amazing.
Absolutely.
And so, how did makeup help you with Lolita? So you were already very good at makeup when you started Lolita, or you built your skill at the same time, and so you build confidence in makeup?
Yes, I was already familiar with it, but I think, like I said, I got more serious about Lolita fashion when I was a junior in high school, so now that'd be like 6 or 7 years. So over that span of time, I've gotten much better, and because of cosplay, it forced me to get good at knowing how to do my makeup for a camera, which essentially is learning how to do your makeup from different angles, so it'll help you in real life too. But yeah, I kind of already had some skills built in makeup before I started Lolita, but then as time went on, I just built on those skills to what it is today. So
awesome. And would you have some other recommendations for Lolita? You said to watch drag queens tutorials, but also, do you have another recommendation that is different for Lolita than the general mainstream makeup?
Yes, I would probably say you can look at tutorials online by the Japanese models, but, you know, they're not makeup artists, so they're not going to go over techniques in extreme detail in the way that a makeup artist might. That's what I'm kind of trying to do with my channel right now, and once the COVID is all like done and quarantine isn't a thing anymore, I'd like to have a bunch of different people on my channel to show them how to do makeup. But you know, you could buy, oh, this is a great tip. Okay. What I would recommend is to look at ball jointed dolls makeup and to try to like translate that onto your own face. Because when it comes down to it, you can watch mainstream tutorials for techniques in shading and blending and stuff. They're perfect for that. But when it comes to shapes, look at the dolls, and you can also use the colors as well and try to copy what you see on the doll on your face. You can also look at Barbies. It's really helpful to do that, or any kind of doll, really. Just look at dolls' faces and practice doing that on your own face.
Interesting. Wow. Thank you so much for answering all those questions. Do you have something else that you want to say to the world right now?
Oh, well, I am a new YouTuber, so I would really appreciate it if you would go check out my channel. And like I said, I specialize in Lolita makeup, and then I also do a few like more mainstream tutorials, but I'm always wearing some kind of alternative fashion. And, you know, also, I want to say that one of my goals with my channel is to bring more diversity to the Lolita makeup tutorial realm on YouTube, because there's really not a lot for people to go off from, and that's something I'd really hope to be able to achieve once quarantine's done. So
yay, let's hope so. So I will definitely put the link at the end for her channel. You can go subscribe. No, you have to go subscribe to her because she needs you. She's just starting out. And then also I will put the link to the video that we did together where this happened. Absolutely, you want to check that out. And she gives so much good tips. So yeah, show Bridget some support. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on your channel, Joelle.
You're welcome. I'm so happy that you reached out to me.
Yeah, me too. I had a great time today, so
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So thank you so much for watching, and remember, everybody can be kawaii. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.